Court records are meant to show how justice is delivered, but not every decision is spoken aloud. Some cases are shaped in delays, side conversations, and silences the record cannot capture. These are those cases. This is what happened before the gavel fell.
Daniel Reyes is at work when it happens. He is standing where he always stands, doing what he always does. Nothing about the moment feels important. Two officers walk in. They do not hurry. They do not scan the room. They walk directly toward him. One of them says his name. Daniel answers. They already knew. They ask him to step outside, not urgently, not forcefully, just outside. The calmness makes his chest tighten. In the parking lot, one officer unfolds a paper. Daniel notices the seal first. The officer reads carefully. Pending criminal matter, court authorization, custodial transfer. Daniel recognizes the words, but not the order they're in. He asks what changed. The officer says the court authorized custody. Daniel asks when. The officer checks the paper. Earlier today. No phone call. No notice. No hearing he remembers. The cuffs go on. Not tight. Not rushed. Almost apologetic. The officer explains they have to do it this way. Procedure. Daniel hears that word again. In the car, Daniel stares at the window. He asks the question he's been asking since the beginning. What did I do? The officer keeps driving. It's not about what you did. Daniel looks down at his hands. That sentence doesn't feel like an answer. It feels like a boundary. At the station, the process begins before he understands it. His phone is taken. His wallet is logged. His shoelaces are removed. Each step happens, as if it was decided long ago. Daniel is moved down a hallway. The smell is disinfectant and old paper. He is stopped at a desk behind glass. A clerk sits there. She does not look at him at first. She types. Daniel hears keys clicking. Before his name is spoken. Reyes, she says. Daniel steps closer. She asks him to confirm his address. He does. She asks him to confirm his date of birth. He does. She asks if he understands the nature of his custody. Daniel pauses. I think so, he says. She does not respond. She types again. She asks if he has ever failed to appear. No, she asks if he has ever violated a court order. No, she asks if he understands that compliance does not guarantee release. Daniel looks up. She is already typing. She slides a form under the glass. Sign here. Daniel reads the top line. Acknowledgement of custodial status. Not arrest, not detention. Custodial status. Daniel asks what that means. The clerk finally looks at him. It means you are where the court wants you to be. Daniel signs. The pen feels lighter than it should. Another officer takes him. Another hallway. Another door. Daniel begins to understand something. No one here is deciding anything. They are confirming it. Daniel is placed in a room. No windows. A camera in the corner. A metal table. He sits, then stands, then sits again. Time stretches without markers. No clock. No explanation. After a while, someone enters. Not an officer, a court liaison. That's how they introduce themselves. They sit across from Daniel. They speak calmly. They say the arrest is related to the ongoing case. Daniel asks which part. The liaison says, the compliance phase. Daniel doesn't know what that means. The liaison explains that courts assess availability, risk of delay, risk of non-appearance. Daniel says he has appeared every time. The liaison nods. Attendance isn't the only factor. Daniel asks if there was a hearing. The liaison says there was a determination. Daniel asks where. The liaison says chambers. Daniel feels it settle in his body. This didn't happen today. He asks when the determination was made. The liaison looks at the paper. Shortly after the last hearing, Daniel thinks of the closed door, the silence, the way the ruling came back changed. Hours later, Daniel is taken to court. Not the courtroom he knows. Smaller, quieter, no jury, no gallery, just him. The judge enters. This is not the same judge. The judge looks at a thin file. Does not look at Daniel. Mr. Reyes, this is a custodial review. Daniel asks what that means. The judge says, custody has already been authorized. This is procedural. Daniel speaks anyway. He says he has complied with everything, every appearance, every request. The judge listens, then says this, compliance does not eliminate risk. Daniel asks what risk. The judge refers to the record. Daniel knows the record. This isn't there. Bail is denied. No explanation, just denial. Daniel remains standing, cuffed. Paperwork moves between clerks. Quietly. No one speaks to him. Daniel notices something small. The file on the bench is thinner than the one he remembers. Tabs are missing. Pages gone. He tries to remember. When that changed, he can't. As he's turned toward the door, he hears the judge speak to a clerk. Not to him. Make sure the order reflects chambers. Daniel stops walking for half a second, then understands. This hearing wasn't to decide anything. It was to document what had already been decided. That night, Daniel finally sees his attorney, through glass. The attorney looks exhausted. Daniel asks the only question that matters. When was this decided? The attorney hesitates, then answers, after chambers. Daniel exhales. So the arrest wasn't sudden, it was delayed, just like everything else. The paperwork will show that Daniel Reyes was taken into custody on a specific date at a specific time. It will not show when the decision was made or how long it waited. That happened earlier, quietly, while Daniel was still showing up, still believing the case was moving. The arrest wasn't the decision, it was the delivery. And by the time Daniel stood before a judge, there was nothing left to argue, because the case against him had already been resolved before the gavel fell.